This time you have got a guest, and she's been on my list since I started the show because she's one of my good friends, Miss Pearl Clinton. We're going to talk about who she is to me, why I adore her, her story. She's got loads. We're going to talk about the profession. We're going to get deep and dirty. So yeah, so keep watching. There's lots to talk about.
Hello.
You don't want to be here, do you? Literally, one of the things I love about Pearl is that she's just got one of them faces that can't fucking lie. Shit, and she swears as well, like me, which is not what we're going to do here.
No.
I apologise for that. Carl, can you beep that out? Can you just do a beep over it? Okay. Yeah. So, Pearl, you are by far the one person I think that stopped me giving up interpreting. So lately on Inadequate Mother Podcast, I'm getting a lot of messages from trainee interpreters that are feeling inadequate, interpreters that just want more conversation around our role. And I would have to say that it wasn't until I met you, I got that light bulb moment where I was like, I'm going to stick at this shit. Yeah. You literally said it how I needed to hear it. I have to say I was a little bit intimidated by you when we first met.
Why?
Because you're a bit of a badass.
No.
You are, and you are, because you're younger than me as well.
I get that all the time.
Yeah, because I'm an old head. I've been through a lot. I've experienced a lot. I'm old before my time. So when I meet people, it's not very often I feel like, yeah, they know their shit. But you were younger than me, and you really, how old were you when you set up your business?
I had a previous company before.
And how old were you then?
I was 21, 22.
So that's like my daughter's 22. Just about to be 19.
Hang on. 22, 23. And then parted ways because I had that company with I was in partnership. Yeah. Closed that company down, and I thought, because I do not give up. It's not in the criteria to give up.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why I set up the Sign Life, did that by myself. So 2016, so I would have been about 25. Yeah. And then next year it'll be 10 years of the Sign Life.
So the Sign Life, I always forget the when I'm looking. Sorry, the Sign Life. Don't forget the people. In fact, this isn't the Inadequate Mother. This is Inadequate Mother, because I decided to remove the. So you are the Sign Life, and it provides interpreting.
Yep. So we're an interpreting agency. We have a PA service, which is providing support workers for deaf people in the community with additional needs.
Right.
And majority of our support workers are profoundly deaf themselves.
Right.
And then we teach British Sign Language from level 1 to level 3. We're in approved centre through Signature.
When did you get approved?
Years ago. When I first started, yeah.
So,
and then we teach
online courses?
Deaf awareness training as well.
Okay.
To companies and whoever wants to learn it.
Is it online or?
We used to do face-to-face, and obviously COVID, pandemic, and the Zoom classes just work so much better now when you get so many people from all over the world. Like I had my one friend who was a travel rep at the time was living in Jamaica, and she was logging on, and it was like early morning there, and then it would be our evening here. So yeah, it accommodates everyone. So
yeah. I have thought about maybe my kids now just signing them up to an online level 1 course. It kind of needs to happen, just especially in the 6 weeks holidays or something. How long are we looking at for level 1, level 2? Just brief.
Level 1 normally you start September, you finish by June. It all depends on how many people are in your class.
Okay.
So if it's a smaller class, it can be done quicker. If it's there's more people in the class.
Is it weekly?
To drag on, yes, every week. So level 1 is, I think it's 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't personally teach.
No, because they're deaf.
Because I really believe in deaf tutors teaching. Because you don't want to be learning my habits from signing and stuff.
What's wrong with your habits?
I don't have the patience. I have zero patience. I'm like, how do you not know?
You telling me you couldn't be a teacher?
No.
You couldn't be a teacher, no. I can confirm.
Yeah.
She basically told me, you're not giving up, Hayley. because I was just
Yeah,
like,
you came into the office and was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
yeah, because I couldn't.
I can't
didn't
even
feel-
remember what had happened.
So basically, I'd got to a point in, like, I'd been a CSW for so long. And the reason why I want to talk about this is just because I get so many messages of people in the same boat, just stuck in a rut. They've got like maybe one client they've worked with for 2 years, so they don't feel like they can talk to any other deaf people.
I do feel like there is a jump from CSW to trainee status.
Yeah.
There's that.
Only in sometimes, because if you are a CSW and you've managed to go about and get those opportunities.
But not everyone gets that opportunity.
But you gave me those opportunities.
Yeah, because I wasn't letting you give up.
Yeah, and that's why I think I was so grateful for that, because I know so many people that don't get that. They get into a college maybe and they work with one young deaf person that maybe hasn't even got the level of sign language themselves, so they don't progress in their signing, and it is so hard. And it's these difficulties that I think the interpreting profession want to talk about, want to highlight from a personal capacity.
You've got to mix it up. You can't just be working with the same, because you're just going to get used to that signing style, even in a different setting. College, like I've seen many CSWs, in-house, local colleges, education setting. For me personally, I hated education, but I just, grin and beared it and did it just to get that experience. Yeah, dipped my toe in it, because obviously every, different interpreters have different fields. Yeah, like my field is like medical, hospital.
We're going to talk more about that.
Want it to be court, things like that.
You want to do court?
Yeah, hell yeah.
No, I am, because I'm so passionate about doing social media and being a content creator or whatever. I've decided that court isn't something I can go down because of that.
Can't really marry them two together. Yeah, no.
So we will talk about the different work and kind of what goes with that.
But yeah, no, giving up wasn't an option. Yeah. Really, it wasn't. And I am quite glad it was me that's in the back end of that when you come in and was like, I'm not doing it. And I was like,
you swore at me. I needed someone to swear at me and be like, fucking sort yourself out.
Did I swear at you?
Yeah, you did. And I was like, that's the first interpreter that's ever sworn at me. That's amazing. Because sometimes, you know, when we're such a small collection. How many interpreters are there?
I think when I just looked on the NRCPD website, I think there's 1,962
in the whole of the UK.
And that to the ratio of how many profoundly deaf people BSL users in the UK. I think the last statistic was like 85,000.
So under 2,000.
It's not good
to provide for.
Don't even get me started on how many deaf blind interpreters there are. There's seven. There's seven in the UK.
God. I've just posted an episode with the wonderful Penny Gunn.
Yes.
Yeah, she's deaf blind and she does training. But I think a lot of that comes down to just fear, because there's just when we don't understand people, we fear them. Or you
avoid it.
And you avoid it, don't you? So, and it's just such a kind of awful thing to think of, someone not having their sight and hearing, that it's scary. So I think, you are right. We need more deaf blind interpreters.
And just general interpreters.
So why isn't there enough interpreters, do you think?
I personally feel that although, the platform of British Sign Language interpreters, the deaf community, deaf culture, that platform has risen because of obviously certain aspects on mainstream TV. You've got the Reunion, CODA Silence, all these amazing program series on mainstream TV. It's risen the profile up. So it's good in that sense. Then when people are looking into learning it, they're like, 7 years to become qualified, 7 years until I can make money. No, like you can start, your level 1, level 2, you could even be a PA, you could be a support worker with the right training, with the right tools, etc. Jump onto your level 3, then you're at CSW state. You can start earning. Yeah. It's just, when people say to me, like, will you teach me how to sign? Is it really easy to learn? Obviously, with myself, like, can't really answer that question because of my mum and dad being deaf.
Yeah, so just for background, you're a CODA, which is...
Child of a deaf.
The way she said it is if to say, don't ask me some stupid questions, Hayley, for God's sake. But there might be people out there that don't. But people do know what that is now, and that's amazing.
More and more people do, and it's brilliant. So when I get asked that question, obviously it's my first language.
Yeah.
British Sign Language is my
So you
first
grew
language.
up signing.
Yeah, I'm an only child. Both parents are profoundly deaf. Both parents are BSL users.
And are you more comfortable in sign language than you are?
Absolutely. So when you asked me to do this podcast, I was like, can I sign?
She wants to sign. No.
I just hate my voice. Like, I know that's quite a common thing for people. Like, I hate sounding my voice.
But you get paid to be the voice of deaf people. And you don't hate it then, do you?
No, because that's different. Like, I'm not talking about what's being said.
I don't mind my... No, I sound like I'm shouting. I know I'm annoying too. So you're more comfortable signing because it's your first language.
Okay.
Is it when people say, can they... So basically, being... Why is she?
No,
I want these.
The worst.
I want this. We've
Stop
got
it,
this.
Hayley.
We've got this. I promise, Pearl, this is just going to be a nice little friendly conversation. Yeah, and
we get lots of opportunities, lots of bookings and things, and we'll speak with the
social event in terms of socializing with deaf people, because like I said, I've made so many friends through social media, and not everyone, that's not suitable for everyone. In fact, it's probably not suitable for the majority of people, but you know.
Yeah, but look, when we went to Deaf Fest, like that is a massive opportunity, huge opportunity.
And I remember
take yourself there, volunteer on a stand.
Yeah, I remember just trying to get
that's
deaf
a
friends.
2-3 day festival, is it not?
Yeah, but it's just 3 days. What you need is you need to be involved on a weekly basis. Yeah,
you don't know who you're going to meet then. There's companies from all across the UK that are in Wolverhampton Uni pitching to people. You could meet one person and then that's your next job, or you're in with an agency. Or
people that want to learn sign language obviously feel like they can't progress their language level unless they've got genuine... Because I remember going to deaf clubs like when I was 22, and I'd end up sitting there talking to some old, like 60-year-old guy that was quite creepy, didn't have a clue, like had nothing in common with me. It was just completely forced conversation. And you'd get these old guys that would just hang around waiting for the people that are learning sign language to come. Like, yeah, that was how it was.
That is mad.
Like, you never got any of this. No. Like, it was weird, like, what it was like. And young, because it's mostly women that want to learn sign language or be interpreters. So it would be young women go into the deaf club and it'd just be old guys. And it was insincere conversation. So when I got into social media...
I have learnt something today.
So now do you know why we all hate you coders? No, I'm only joking. We don't hate coders. But there is a group... But there is a side of you as a trainee that looks at a coder and goes, like, judges yourself. Like, you're never going to be as good as someone that's first language is sign language. Like, I remember going to America and, you know, like, they're like, Miss Captain America, you're going to be the best interpreter ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I held that question in my head and I was like, no, I'm not going to be, because even if I was the most competitive, hardworking person, realistically, am I going to be better than a coder? But that being said, it's not easy for you, is it, as a coder?
No, not at all.
I remember being at uni and looking at the coders in class and not only just thinking I was just completely inadequate in terms of my signing skill, because I was watching a natural person do it. And I was just like, how am I ever going to get to that level? And I was judging them and judging myself on their level. But then my best friend obviously is Grace, who's a coder, and I just watched her journey into interpreting with a whole heap of other issues. So yes, she might have had a natural ability to sign, but she'd also got home signs to try and deal with. She also had the fact that her boundaries weren't as easily formed as mine were, because so I was a professional going into it, so I'd formed those boundaries based off of what I've been taught, where you've had to form your boundaries in a very weird way because that's your family. So it's like, I can imagine that was really, really hard, along with the fact, so just tell me.
But like how you're just saying about you would look at coders and, you know, with their signing skills, that's like me talking about my English, my written. It's always been a weak point. And I used to be like, oh, everyone on this course, they're just so academically bright. And I always used to sort of bog myself down because, I could have this, but still There's like bad habits that I used to, like my dad always used to be like, sign with two hands. And it's like, we're not in America, like we live in England.
Did you find yourself doing that with
all
work?
the time.
And
And then obviously doing it as a profession, as a career, I feel like not so many people, like not in the deaf interpreting world, like just my friends, like in my other life,
you're deaf.
They'll think, well, because Pearl's mum and dad are deaf, like, well, yeah, of course she's of course she's got her own business, but I have to work really hard because you have to have the qualifications. And I never forget when I became qualified, and what did you say to me? You said something about, not just because of me having this qualification doesn't mean like you had it before.
Yeah,
like,
it was just a
but
box,
it was like the be all and end all for me, because I was like, done it. Like, I have got this qualification. Yes, okay.
Is it a legal requirement to have the badge?
It's encouraged. Because of obviously insurance purposes. And again, if you used to go down a route where someone was to make a complaint about you and you're on the register, whether that be NRCPD or VLP, then you can contact them to raise that complaint.
And agencies,
yes,
they require it.
They prefer it, yeah. So like we would take, we do take on CSWs, but we wouldn't put them out on that field. It would be more like in-house.
But I love the fact, for me, you had your policies in place, you had your procedures, and you had your practice, but you were always people first. So basically, if someone's going to go without, am I going to think about my policies and procedures? Like, you kind of just, it was almost like you could just see your intention was to serve the community.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, for me, in terms of like the organisations that I see, we can get too, what's the word, bureaucratic, like the red tape and everything, and it sometimes you then forget what you're doing, and you're there to serve a community, and you always seem to like, okay, yes, it's not great that you haven't got your yellow badge now, but I know that you're going to do this job well, Hayley.
We always get like requests, and sometimes the majority of the time it's very last minute, as you know, as yourself as an interpreter. The requests that fly in the day before, maybe even on the same day. And there are times where I'll have to say, this person doesn't have their yellow badge. However, they have got their purple badge. They're at uni, like aiming to get their yellow. And it's up to that person who's booking to decide. And that, I just think, always being honest with people. Yeah. I'm not going to send someone out and claim that they're fully qualified.
But there's a shortage.
But exactly, there is an absolute shortage.
I'm just going to throw this into the edit and say that there is way too much for me and Pearl to talk about for this to be a one episode jobby. So we will have Pearl on here again. You need to comment down below questions, because if there's any one you should be asking about interpreting fields, or if you're a trainee, you're a CSW, whatever, or if you just want to learn sign language, pop them comments below. I will get them to Pearl. We will do another episode, or you could connect with her on the Sign Life Instagram. But where we were was you basically talking about the different routes.
Yes. So I did my routes, MVQ routes.
Yeah, so that was the different. I remember when we were talking and I was going down the uni route, and then I met you.
And I was dead against it.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And now I'm at uni.
Doing her bloody masters. Like, that just shows how, just like, why I've called it Inadequate Mother, is because we all feel we're not good enough. And it's not until you accept that that's just going to always be the case and you just put yourself forward. I'm so flipping proud of you.
Thank you.
Doing those essays and just
honestly, I nearly had a nervous breakdown a few months ago. I'm surprised I'm still
because
here.
not only is she doing her masters, you're a single mom, you've got to run a business with multiple staff members. Can you see why at the start of this I said I was quite intimidated by her?
This is why I'm tired, people. This is why I look tired.
I think she holds the record for air miles travelled by a sign language interpreter. I'm a little bit jealous and a little bit angry that you haven't taken me on a lot of those, especially LA. Like, hello.
Las
LA.
Vegas.
No, in fact,
Las Vegas.
Was it Las Vegas,
we went
not LA?
Las Vegas twice for work, then Dubai, then Thailand. I feel like Ireland and Scotland doesn't really go up there, but it's still air
And
miles.
as much as I hate you
Still
for it,
air
Pearl,
miles.
and I do hate you for it, I do. But you are so deserving. Like, you got into this, didn't you, because of a similar thing in terms of what pushes me to do the podcast. I have called this podcast Inadequate Mother because of losing my mum to alcoholism. The fact that uncomfortable conversation is why she's not here today, because she couldn't get to grips with her addiction. You lost your father, and then that's driven you.
Absolutely, it's my fuel, and it always will be.
So what is
always.
it that happened that drove you?
My dad passed away when I was 12. Back then, it was 2003, so very few interpreters back then. And when we were called to the hospital, I had to interpret to my mum that my dad had died, how he died,
At 12
what was going
years
to
old.
happen after. Now, I was not forced to do it. I wanted to do it because how's my mum going to understand anyone? And when I say I wasn't forced to do it, it wasn't, my mum was like, no, you can't use her. But there was no other way. I was like, well, Mum, how are you going to...
So what did the doctors and professionals say?
They just said if we explain it really easy, in
Hold on, so
simple
did they
terms.
ask you to do it?
Yeah, they did.
So doctors...
Yeah. They
and
said if we say
asked a 12-year-old...
in a simple way, can you explain to your mother what's happened to your dad? And I just, as a coder and other coders that are watching, they'll understand. Like, you go into autopilot. So it's like, it was like different sort of hat on. It wasn't like my dad. It was like just somebody else. It happened. It was like I was living an out of body experience. That's the only way I can sort of describe it. And then, like, my dad's death didn't hit me until years later, when I was like, I think year 9, 10 at school. Because I was in year 7 at the time. I'd just started senior school.
Do you think that's because you were wearing the communication facilitator hat during the trauma?
And I didn't understand it. I didn't really understand what was going on at the time. And I remember my nan, who was hearing, saying, you don't have to go to school tomorrow. And I'd be like, well, no, I want to go to school. It's fine. And everyone being weird with me at school, because obviously they'd been told that my dad had passed away. And I was just
You hadn't processed it?
No. Because I was so worried about my mom, because it really impacted my mom. Like, 1 minute her partner's here, the next day he's not, because it was very sudden. He wasn't poorly. It was a heart attack, so it was very sudden. So it rocked my mom's world. Like, she lost so much weight. She was just there in body, but not my mom. So I didn't want to put that onto her, and I just sort of just got on with stuff and just carried on. But because of this, and because of, like, my dad, he was a big advocate, big ally in the deaf community, was constantly campaigning for deaf rights, interpreters. And it's actually quite, what's the word? How when he passed away, he didn't get an interpreter. Like, it's like, you can't even make that up.
The amount of work he did.
The man that just tried to campaign, not by himself, with others in the deaf community. He was quite. My dad grew up in London. He was born in Worcester, grew up in London, moved to Birmingham when he met my mum. So he had, like, different groups of friendships in the deaf community all around the UK. And I remember being little and being in the house, and he would have, it'd be like a boardroom of people just all signing to each other, like, what we're going to do. And I remember seeing that. And my mum would come in with her teas and give everyone tea. Like I said, they used to use our house as the meeting point.
Because that's before social media.
And that was, exactly. So because of my dad's aim and me seeing, and me and my dad used to have, even though I only had him for,
This is what you're here for. See, people don't see this side of you. They just see the go-getter, the ball buster, the business owner. They don't see how much frigging work you've put in to serving the community. And if anyone deserves all the air miles and amazing trips, baby.
Sorry.
Don't, you're making me cry. Because this is...
When I go on certain jobs and I meet people, especially from London, like the London deaf community, and they're like, I used to play cricket with your dad. I can't tell you what it... There's just something in me.
Because he's lived on. Yeah.
'Cause he's lived on. Yeah. 'Cause he's lived on. 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 'C
I'm not a religious person, and I don't know how I feel about heaven and hell. But for me, a heaven, if you live on, like you live on in people, your energy, your legacy, your
Absolutely.
impact. And if you've killed people and you've done evil things, that's hell. That's you've lived on in a hellish way and you've made a negative impact.
This is what I'm going back to talking about not giving up.
So you've got that drive, and you can't teach drive.
No, you can't at all. I can't believe I just got really upset then.
We can edit it out if you want.
Yeah.
But I think that you should probably keep it
It's
in.
just like when because I was going to say, like, I only had my dad for 12 years of my life, but he was such a big.
So that 12 years
part
is
of it.
still, he's still in there.
And this
It's
is why I've gone on
amazing.
to do what I want to do. And
What do you mean by what
like,
you want to do?
I just want to like encourage people to want to do interpreting. I don't think it's pushed in schools as much as it should be. Like the delay for it being a GCSE, it's so deflating when it's like, yeah, it's going to be taught in schools. Oh no, it's not. There's not enough deaf tutors. And it's like there's always issues. There's always things that we need to iron out. Going forward, we just all need to just sort of come together.
Get in your living room like your dad did.
Yeah, maybe not mine. But yeah, just like come together. And because, you know, there are negative, it's like there's negative comments out there. Like, you know, with you saying about me racking up the air miles and, you know, going on these jobs, and people class them as like they're quite glamorous jobs. And like, yeah they are.
I secretly hate you when you do. I'm not going to lie. Like,
but when you come back from these big jobs, they're big jobs because you're working 16-hour days because you're the one person in the room that understands sign language. What's he saying? And it's like, even when you're having your dinner, and it's like, just a quick thing, can you tell so and so? And it's like,
so you don't really see anything,
it's like,
do you?
Like when, like I think when I was in Thailand recently, I didn't leave the hotel for 4 days.
So how many countries? Just so, because I wanted to say this before we got talking again. How many? What countries? We've got Thailand, because I'm sure you went South Africa the one.
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that. That was a good trip.
Yeah,
that was brilliant. But you know what was really annoying? Like, I flew to South Africa and it was their winter. Had a heat wave in the UK.
No.
So I was literally taking pictures of my bed socks, sending them to the girls, and they're like, "Yeah, barbecue," and I'm like, oh.
I'm thinking about going to South Africa for my
It's amazing. It's really good.
I've got £430 for a flight
in November. That's their summer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay then.
But anyway, so you've got South Africa,
Las Vegas twice.
All right, babes.
Thailand, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Ireland, Scotland. Yeah.
Any more? London all the time. You're in London.
Yeah, I do like working in London. It is. You
do get about, and like I said, honestly, it's so frigging deserved. Single mum with her own business, pushing for the cause. The cause was a campaign I remember you doing as well. That's
hashtag,
not. Do you know what I mean? And didn't you do a petition and put that forward to?
Yeah.
To who?
Because of obviously what happened to me when I was younger, having to relay that information to my mum and having that pressure, which I didn't realise at the time. Again, delayed impact. It happened to someone. I think it was back in like 2022. And I just remember reading this article and my head just went, I can't believe this is still happening. Like, was
it like trauma?
Yeah, because I was like, well, I'm 28, 29 now. I was 12 when this happened to me. How is this still happening? So I was like, right, get me a pen. And I was like, then I was like, change.org, set up this petition. And I must admit, I had like such a good experience, and the support from the community, like you say, when people message you all the time, and people from all over the world were messaging me. I remember being on holiday with my friend, and I was in some newspaper in Brazil. And I was like, I couldn't tell you what was being said, but I just seen this picture of me and mum and dad, and it was all like, and I was like, oh my God, that's me. Like, why am I in a Brazilian newspaper? Like, it's mind blowing. But it's just because it just literally goes out and touches so many people.
It's because you've got the heartfelt intention behind it. And I think that's
and
really...
I think because I've seen my dad do it as well. And I just want to be able to finish it off. And I'm not saying it's just going to be me. I'm going to like, it's, again, like I'm saying earlier, like everyone to come together, to work together. Yeah.
But generally speaking, it is the shortage of interpreters that is over. You know, we can get to the professionals. We can deal with the ignorant people. You know, you've got wonderful people like Tilly. She was on, that was probably one of my highest reaching episodes.
Yeah.
That interview was amazing. And she is a massive advocate for small children getting interpreters.
Yeah.
Because if your dad, who's literally had a heart attack and just about passed, can't get one, they're not bringing them in for kids. But do you think that's something necessary for a parent to be able to be a parent and not have to worry about being an interpreter?
Absolutely. It's not on the parent to interpret. And I can only imagine, you know, having to, the interpreter doesn't turn up. Now I've got to not be a mom, be the interpreter. It's not a nice feeling at all. And it's like, it's failing so many people. And this is what it really bothers me. So that's why my field is medical and hospital. Like when you see me leaving the QE, I'm like, right, sign life death awareness. Yeah, here's my card. Go on this website, go on YouTube, just advocating, because it's like, yeah, everyone wants to make money by teaching sign language, etc. But I do feel like imagine if every interpreter just did their little bit, sprinkled their bit of dust, and to teach, to advocate people. Because like the amount of times that I've spoken to GPs, surgeons, consultants, and I'm like, BSL and English are two different languages. Never knew that. And I'm like, well, you do now.
So you're saying that because I get a lot of stick.
Like, is that the reach, like you just said about Tilly's podcast?
Yeah.
The reach that it got.
I read an article not so long ago where the interpreter that puts themselves out there, basically me, the interpreter and the dynamic that creates for a deaf person. Because if you walk into the room and you're known, or you've got this different layer to yourself and you're this well-known content creator, and the attention's off that deaf person that you're interpreting for, that's a problem. And it's a problem that's been researched. And yes, I can understand that, but
I feel like that's down to individuals, and how they perceive people.
Yeah, and
when you're saying about me doing these air miles, and I think I mentioned it earlier about posting certain jobs, I can't post these jobs where I'm telling someone bad news at hospital because it's confidential. I can't go onto social media, and then there's there's so much, like you said, there's so much, there's not enough time to talk about all the issues and stuff in the interpreting profession.
I don't know how you do, like I know you do a lot of travel, but you also do a lot of jobs. I've seen you do a lot of jobs that I know I couldn't have done.
What do you mean?
Like with the social workers and kids, and like I remember doing a job that that scarred me. We shared it. We can't talk about it, but the impact of that job has stayed with me. And I know you do a lot of those types of jobs with like social workers.
I've never really thought about it like in the sense of how you've just said it, but for me to do them sort of jobs, and for everyone who is involved in that job, be it the deaf service user or the hearing social worker, or could be deaf social worker, the minute that you get that they understand, and it's that they're clarified and they've been heard and they've felt seen, I've done my job. So that is what, if I'm looking and I'm like, okay, sorry, I am going to have to interrupt. This person doesn't understand. That person doesn't understand. Can you clarify it again?
But that's in you automatically, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're a CODA. And I've talked about codependency, and I've told you to read that book, Codependent No More. I have told you. Because Codependency No More talks about how if you're a child of an addict and you have to look after that addict, or you're impacted, or you feel responsible for being responsible for that parent that I often felt responsible for, my mom, her, there's a wiring in you that doesn't leave you. So I feel responsible for fixing people's problems. And I can imagine that's a lot of wiring that happens in a CODA. You feel responsible. And also, so like with my little sister, I felt responsible for fixing all her problems. So when she's not developing through her own problems because I'm taking over, that's not only enabling her to not develop. Do you know what I mean? So there's a level of realization you have to have where there's something in me that I'm trying to satisfy. I don't need to fix this person's problem. I don't need to turn on my interpreter head.
I remember you talking to me about this before, actually.
But then also what you've said to me about when you didn't process your dad's death, not death. These subtitles are pissing me off. I'm sorry for any episodes where it said death and not death and I've missed it. Your dad's passing and you didn't process it because you had that interpreter hat on. As an interpreter, I know, like, I'll be interpreting something and then an hour later someone will say, what did they say? And you're like, oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, sometimes it's just in out. Yeah.
So would you say that is why there was a delay in processing your dad's passing, is because it didn't go in the way in which it was supposed to go in?
And I've never really like thought into it like that. You have a weird and wonderful way of asking questions, and sometimes I think I've never actually thought about that. Or like, you know, when we meet
but
before,
that's
on
what
jobs, and I'm
podcasting's
like,
about.
Because I've never had therapy or counselling. I know I will eventually.
But this is also kind of like therapy.
Yeah.
And this is why podcasters do podcasts.
What I mean, like when I just cried then, like, just come out of nowhere, because
100%.
Obviously the sentence where I'm saying I've only had my dad for 12 years, like, it annoys the crap out of me. Like, it's like, why is life so unfair?
I do it. When I cry over my mum, I cry and then I get happy that I've cried because it means she's still with me.
Yeah, it's like a release as well, isn't it?
It means you haven't forgotten.
You're unconsciously holding this. And I'm naturally like that as a person anyway. And then I just go, and it could be
but
like
it also means they're still there in your heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
You haven't forgotten them.
Absolutely.
They're there in your heart. They're living on. So I welcome tears.
Yeah.
Please don't make me edit them out. But it's been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. Like, I feel like this conversation has just gone woo, woo, woo. Because there's just so much to cover.
Yeah.
And you've just got this incredible life, Pearl, that has started off with you've just got so much fire in your belly. And you, like you said, when you started, I can't give up.
Yeah. It's never an option.
And the sign language community, if they don't tell you enough, I'm telling you, as just one teeny little person in there, thank you for all you do and keep just being you. You know, we're two people that probably I don't know if people slate us, but I can imagine.
There are some, there are negative comments, but there's negative comments in society, isn't there? But just in the interpreting profession, I just feel like people just need to be a bit kinder, a bit mindful. Everyone's journey is different. Not everyone's a coder. Not everyone knows a deaf person like yourself. Your first deaf person you met was your tutor at uni. Some people like myself, not academically up there English-wise.
You are now, you've got masters.
Yeah, just to be mindful and like, there's people that are on social media, again, there's positives, negatives. You see one thing and it just spreads like wildfire. That one comment that this person didn't sign that incorrectly and this is wrong, and it's soul destroying. It can crush someone. So like, I've seen in my time as an interpreter, I've seen some of the best interpreters change profession. They've given it up, they've packed it up, I'm a masseuse now. So when I'm emailing people, are you available for this job? And they're like, I'm actually not an interpreter anymore. I'm like, what? What do you mean not an interpreter? And they're like, yeah, just stopped it, just couldn't deal with all the backlash and the comments. And I think when we was off air earlier and you said, is it in my head, the comments that I think that's going on? But there's a few things that have been relayed back to me. But then some of it probably is in my head. But it's just a reminder to everyone, like, be kind and so what, some people are a bit annoying. They want to know what this means and how do you sign that, or could you repeat that? Crack on, like, do you know what I mean? So it's just,
I think the reason why, I'm going down the conversational route around interpreting and the sign language community, but I'm still going to keep the name Inadequate Mother, because I was so many things before I was an interpreter. I was a mom before I was an interpreter. And I was also a content creator before I was an interpreter. So in my head, I'm always like, if I'm not good enough to be an interpreter because I'm a single mom or because I'm a content creator, but like what I'm saying is because there's a lot of people that
but
think.
That's my question to you. Like, why
because I'm a content.
You're not.
No, because the crossover of being creative and making content and putting yourself out there on social media has an impact on how you're utilised as a sign language professional. In terms of my presence in the room, if I'm known as a content creator, it's harder to be an invisible communication facilitator. So I understand the theory, but I can't change who I am, and I'm not gonna. So
No, hell no.
do you know what I mean? And I think that's...
I feel like if one person was to listen or to watch this podcast and Googles, how do I learn BSL, or career change, or what deaf programs are there at, then we've done what we've come out here to do. And that's why I really believe I was put on this planet to do. And like my nan always used to say, like, Pearl, you have a gift. Use it. You are so special. And I used to be like, oh yeah, whatever now. And then obviously after I lost her, makes you think like she was right.
You have got a gift. I don't even think gift's the right word. You've got a drive, and drive can't be my eldest daughter has it, and she was born with it. And people always go, she's a credit to you. And that's another reason why I've called it Inadequate Mother. It was nothing to do with me. She's going off to Durham, one of the best universities, straight A student, absolute corker of a kid. And they're going, she's a credit to you. I have not done anything. She was born with this drive within her. And you have been born with it. And sometimes it's born out of trauma, let's be honest.
Oh, 100%. I do often think to myself, like, obviously my life would be very different.
Yeah,
if it's what that happened. But like I said to you,
drop a comment below. This was just emotional, babes, wasn't it?
Thanks for having me.
Honestly, it's been...
No, I have actually, like, surprisingly...
It's therapy. Podcasters do podcasting. One, because I'm still looking for a sponsor, though, please, because this is coming out of my pocket. It wasn't completely free. So we do it because we get free therapy, a couple of hours of talking a week. You network, you build up friendships, connections, you learn things. This is what I want to bring to the deaf community, because it's too bloody good not to have it in the sign language community.
Absolutely.
But thanks for joining, and yes, connect with us, keep talking, and keep going if you're learning sign language.
Absolutely.